I'm going to talk about some code quality tools that you might use in your CI toolchain. So I'm going to avoid the standard ones like PHP LOC and stuff like that that are in pretty much every guide that you would look at on this. So just going to go for the ones I actually use. You might not have heard of. So the first one is PHP Parallel Lint. This is the same thing as PHP Lint, but it does it in parallel. It's much faster, apparently 20 times faster than standard PHP Lint. To be honest though, I mean, say in like a 50,000 line project, it still only takes like 2 seconds, like to use the normal PHP Lint versus this. So kind of pointless, but it's pretty cool. Like thinking it's all going on in parallel. This is just like a little demonstration of what happens if you put bad things in your code. The PHP Coding Standards Fixer. This isn't the one that most people seem to use. The what is it called now? Code Sniffer. That's it. Exactly, Code Sniffer. Yeah. The this one's actually much slower. Yeah, but it fixes things, and it seems to I don't know, it covers the PSR requirements a lot better, and actually fixes pretty much everything. You don't really have to touch your code after you run it through this. One of the other really nice things is designed by the Symfony people. So if you use Symfony, they've got all the rules that Symfony put on top of PSR requirements. So you can just, run it through this and then submit PIs to Symfony without worrying about whether you're meeting their requirements at all. There's one little thing here. If you enable this cache, it's actually this line here, it changes its runtime from probably like a minute or two to like 2 or 3 seconds. So that's very worth doing. My phone's turned off. Okay, so SensioLabs Security Checker. This is another kind of Symfony-based one, but it covers a lot of projects outside of Symfony, like Doctrine. But it also covers some issues in Zend, Cake, Typo 3. It checks your composer file for basically if the versions you've used have security notifications against them. It'll tell you about them, like this one here. So you can, stop a push to live if it's, got known issues in your composer file. PHP VarDump Check. I'd like to think no one leaves VarDumps lying around in their code, but most of the code bases I come to have plenty of them. This scans the entire thing, looks for VarDump, printr, things like that. But it also looks for the Ladybug dumps, Tracy dumps, Zend and Symfony dumps. Oh, and Laravel dumps as well. Just to make sure you're not going to commit code with those still in it. Twig Lint. This one's it's a bit crap really actually, because again another one that's a bit dodgy. But yeah, it only finds really big mistakes because it doesn't actually look at your Twig extensions or anything like that to work out whether you've added extra commands. So I don't know if any of you know Twig. This here is like a functional block. You could change this piece of text to pretty much anything that doesn't exist. It would cause an error when it was running, but this wouldn't detect it because you could have added a function that implements that. But it does work out, it does find things, really bad mistakes, like putting like core language things in the wrong place and that sort of thing. So,
Just passing
Yeah. It's a good start, at least. Never actually had that find anything. But at least, runs very quickly. This one, however, I actually don't use this one at all, because when I do use it, it does really scary things like this. All the red ones are classes that are way too large, basically. This one especially is in a terrible state. So yeah, that's about 1,000 lines. We won't talk about that. But the level of detail this shows you if you're interested in metrics in your code, it's absolutely amazing. I haven't got any pictures actually, but the relations map is really cool. It shows how all your classes are interrelated in this big circular diagram. So it's a nice visualization of it. And the Explorer gives you all the sort of data that's used to build the charts. Loads of things I've never heard of. Quite amazing though, like so the depth that it goes into. But it gives predictions on like how long it would take for a developer to read and understand your code base. Apparently this one would take 80 hours. It's 20,000 lines, 80 hours. It's not purely based on the lines though, it's looks at the functional complexity. And this is also another very dodgy one, but I think it's going to be quite cool eventually. It's a deprecation detector. It pretty much only works against Symfony and the related projects at the moment, but it scans them for anything that's been deprecated against the list. It sort of downloads a list of rules and checks if you've used any of your code uses deprecated functions, even if they're not marked. I don't know if I can actually scroll across here so I can show you a little bit more of it. No, that's not going to work. Across the side there's a big list of the actual description of what you've done wrong. Makes it quite easy to fix it. I actually used this recently when moving from Symfony 2.7 to 2.8, and despite, I don't know, maybe 200 edits throughout the code base, still got it done in just an hour or two. And this really helped that, actually. Interesting though, once I got to 2.8, it didn't find a lot of the deprecations that there were going on from that point, so I'm not really sure what's going on with it, but I think, hopefully, it's an alpha project right now. It's an alpha version, so hopefully it will get developed further and expand out from just Symfony like the security checker did. We'll see. And I think that's it. Yep, that's all of them.